I have had an unfortunate experience. Many sannyasins is that people listen to Bhagwan in their own terms, which means sannyasin had an idea, an opinion, a fantasy, and then they listen to Bhagwan to fulfill their idea, fulfill their fantasy, or justify what they are thinking, what they are fantasizing, what their idea is. Then they can say, well, Bhagwan said so. But really, did Bhagwan say so? Or was it your own fantasy? Was it your own idea? I had a little motto, a little, not a motto, but I exercise this on a daily basis in Rajneeshpuram. When I did something and somebody said Sheela did good, I always said it was Bhagwan who did it. And when I got accused for things that were not right or wrong, and though they were from Bhagwan, I said, yes, I did it. And this was basically an exercise that I had given myself, so that there was very little possibility for ego gratification. But it was an exercise that I did it, nobody had to know about it, nobody knew about it. But it was my inner exercise. It is what I did. I took responsibility for the wrongs and never avoided it. And when the credit came for something that was good or wonderful, it was because of Bhagwan. And that is the way it should be.
You will say now that you have done everything in the past with Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, what he says to you, that you follow his orders. It doesn't matter what was the outcome, it doesn't matter what was the fear or the to lose your respectability or whatever.
No, I didn't. I wasn't afraid, and I'm not afraid. I'm not a fearful person. I had courage to stand up to what I did and what I do. When I took the responsibility of being Bhagwan's secretary, somehow I knew it was not an easy responsibility. It was not a small event. I also knew that it's not bed of roses I'm going to sleep on it. It's mainly thorns I'm going to sleep on it. That Bhagwan is not an easy man who's going to give me only sugar-coated situations to deal with. It's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. And when I took this responsibility, I also was clear that when I did not understand something, or when I had a doubt in me, if Bhagwan said something and I didn't like it, or I doubted it, or it didn't sit right in me, then I must speak with him. I must clarify with him. I must ask him. And I did. Every time there came a point where I didn't understand something, I was very open to him. There was nothing I hid from him. when I sat near him totally transparent, naked. He could see through me because I didn't pretend. I didn't have to look spiritual because I wasn't interested in it. I didn't want him to believe that I have reached the high levels of chakras. I could care less. I was just happy to sit near his feet and look into his eyes. I didn't have to pretend that I had high intellect. It was proven when I understood him. I didn't have to pretend. And on top of it, I'm a very pragmatic woman, very practical woman. So, if he said, do it this, or do this, I would ask him why. I tell you, an event. I hated it, and yet I did it. And I did it for Bhagwan, I did it for Bhagwan's people, I did it for the commune, and I'm proud I did it. I forget the actual event. I'm sure somewhere I have written down the event. It had to do with the governor of Oregon, who was totally against Bhagwan, his work, sannyasa in Rajneeshpuram. They had created everything to sabotage the work we were doing. And Bhagwan, at this point, I have given a press conference a day before, according to Bhagwan's instruction, and criticized and abused, gave verbal abuse to the governor, just the way Bhagwan told me to give it, in the press, and condemned the governor's action. And in the evening, some information came from Senate building to us, which I passed it on to Bhagwan, and Bhagwan said to me, you give another press conference and apologize to governor. I said, why? This information is irrelevant, what we got from Senate. In fact, the information is that they're going to harm us more. Why do you want me to apologize? How can I apologize to this idiot? He said, you just go apologize. It didn't sit right. I said, Bhagwan, I don't want to go do that. I don't want to apologize to that man. For what? He said, you simply do it. You do it because I tell you to do it. I was very clear. I said, okay, I don't understand it, but you tell me to do it. For you, I do it. Because I love you. And I went and apologized. And I felt nothing more. There were words of apologies I transmitted to the journalist. Nothing more. But I was very clear that I did not want to apologize. I didn't understand this act of Bhagwan. But if he wants me to do it, with pleasure I do it.
This was teaching.
This was
to
teaching, trust, everything. And I did it. Good fantasy.
Okay.
Great. But events like this happen with him on a daily basis. He must have his own reasons. If not, he had a good fantasy. And he used this fantasy to, I suppose, to draw his people out of their own minds. I trust that's what he was doing. But it can only help if we are ready.